What's up, baseball fans, and what's up, Met fans? Welcome back to Talkin Mets at Rob on a Monday, MLB Free Agent Friends Day. Here we are. There was a lot of moves yesterday, a big trade, a couple of signings. We will get into that in a little bit. And just want to let everybody know, especially Met fans, that yes, I heard the news about Pete Alonso getting into a horrific car accident, but he is okay. Everything will be fine. Apparently, his car flipped over during that car accident, but everybody is okay, including Pete Alonso. So that is the news that we got with the Mets. Jacob deGrom says he's healthy. He also said he's going to opt out, which everybody probably expected. And we are going to be here for the next few hours going over all the trades from yesterday, the free agents from yesterday, the sign-ins, and we're going to talk about a couple of rumors that I saw right before I came on that I will discuss with you guys. So once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button if you're just tuning in. Don't be ashamed. Don't be shy. Say something in the chat. Met fans, Reds, Red Sox, Yankees, doesn't matter, guys. We are all here to talk MLB free agent frenzy and all the possible trades. And I know some Yankee fans are not happy with that trade with Donaldson, but I think it's better. It's better than the alternative that you had a few days ago. So what are the rumors that are going on as of right now? Well, according to John Morosi, he's heard that the Minnesota Twins and the Oakland Athletics are in trade discussions for a pitcher, Sean Manaea or Frankie Montas, and that's developing rather quickly. So we're gonna, keep a close eye on that. Also, there is a couple of rumors out there saying that the Matt Olson rumors have picked up. Teams are talking to him about a trade. It could happen today. It looks like it could happen today. There's been rumors about the Yankees. There's been rumors about the Braves and a couple of mystery teams. And the other news that we heard of, over the last 24 hours is about Carlos Correa. I did a video today that I posted up there if you guys want to check it out when you get a chance about Carlos Correa talking about possibly taking a 1-year deal. And that's the big reason why the Houston Astros are back in discussions with Carlos Correa. So I got to thinking, why wouldn't the Mets, who need a big bat, go after Carlos Correa if it's only 1 year? If it's only 1 year, it's a perfect situation for the Mets. It's not a long-term deal. You're not stuck financially. He can probably get somewhere between $30 to $40 million on that 1-year deal. And we heard Cohen say he's willing to go over 290. He don't have a problem with that. And he wants Epler to bring him opportunities. Well, there's an opportunity there that I think could actually be the Mets can actually be a mystery team in that scenario. That's what I like to hear. And I think the Mets will look into that. I will rather have Carlos Correa for 1 year than sign long-term Kris Bryant. And you guys know how much of a Kris Bryant fan I am coming to the New York Mets. So those are the rumors as of right now. And there was one sign-in today, which was Brad Hand, who was on the radar of the Mets, that just signed with the Phillies for a $6 million deal for 1 year. So he's going to the Phillies along with Jeurys Familia. So the Phillies are basically signing every Met every former Met. They got Hand, they got Familia, they have Wheeler. So that's what happened today. So what we're going to go over right before I get to all your comments, guys, and say what up to everybody, I'm going to go over the sign-ins and the trades that happened yesterday so everybody is up to date on all the rumors and the news that's been going on. So obviously the big news yesterday, some consider it a blockbuster, some don't, but it's still a significant trade for two teams, the Yankees and the Twins. So we know the Twins are making moves with trades and sign-ins. They seem like they're trying to get better. They're trying to keep up with the White Sox and the Tigers. So what did they make a trade with the Yankees? So the Twins are getting Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez for Josh Donaldson, the recently acquired Kiner Falefa, and also the catcher Road Vet. So it looks like the Yankees finally gave up on Gary Sanchez. Thank God. Finally, it makes a lot of sense. And I am not. I don't know how much it makes him better, but I'll tell you this. You don't have to worry about Gary Sanchez and butchering every ball behind home plate. Half the pitchers didn't like pitching to him. On top of that, when it comes to Gary Sanchez, he was too streaky as a hitter. He would have 2 or 3 days as a hot streak, and then he would be cold for like 3 weeks. And Falefa is a Gold Glove shortstop, and he will be a stopgap for Volpe, which the Yankees are reluctant to trade. And on top of that, Josh Donaldson is very good defensively. I know he gets injured a lot, but I think that the Yankees need a little bit of that grit. Even though him and Cole are probably not best friends, but you don't need them to be friends. You need him to perform. And you know what? A lot of people were talking. There were some people that, are laughing at the Mets signing all these elderly guys, but now they just got a 36, 37-year-old third baseman who is injury prone. But I think the bigger part of this deal is I think it's addition by subtraction when it comes to Gary Sanchez. You just couldn't go into the season with Gary Sanchez again. You don't even have your ace that wants to pitch to him. That's a problem. And offensively, he's not worth putting in the lineup when his defense sucks. So I think it was a decent trade, but this can't be the only move the Yankees make. There was rumors that they're pretty much out on the big-time shortstops, which is obvious. And it doesn't look like they're anywhere near any type of close trade discussions with the Oakland A's, with Matt Olson, because the A's are asking for Volpe, and why not, right? And I don't think the A's are going to pivot. They could probably get just as a better deal from the Braves or another team looking for Matt Olson. And for Freddie Freeman, I think the Yankees are out. So when it comes to the Yankees and their first base situation, look them to go after Rizzo. I think Rizzo is probably a huge possibility, which I don't think it's a terrible sign-in, but he is a 33-year-old first baseman who is in decline. I think Cashman is not going to give up. And with this trade that they made with the Twins, it's pretty obvious that Hal Sternberger put the purse strings on Cashman and the Yankees. Yes, they did take 75% of Donaldson's salary, but if you do the math, Gary Sanchez was making around 9, Gio Schiller was making around 6. So that basically takes around about $14, $15 million off the Donaldson contract per year. So it's kind of only like $5 or $6 million they're paying per year for Donaldson. So it's not a lot of money that the Yankees are taking on. So it seems like the Yankees are not going over the luxury tax. So that idea of signing Freeman, signing Correa, probably not even signing Story, which shortstop doesn't make sense because I think Falefa is a pretty decent he's not a great hitter. He's an okay hitter, but he's got speed. He steals bases, and he plays great defense. So unless the Yankees make another significant move, I doubt it. But if they get Rizzo, if you have Rizzo, Donaldson, and maybe another pitcher somewhere along the way, I think the Yankees are better off today than they were yesterday. And again, it's addition by subtraction, guys. I know a lot of Yankee fans did not want to lose Gio Urshela, but he's been injured. He hasn't been hitting the way he was a couple of years ago. His defense was still pretty darn good, but I think it's addition by subtraction. And Yankee fans will like Josh Donaldson's grit, but can he remain healthy enough to put up the performance that he can put up? And, we also got to look at the fact that he called out Garrett Cole last year. So that's a big problem that might probably get figured out. I mean, these guys all got big egos, so it doesn't really matter when it comes to that. I think that the Yankees are a little bit better than what they were yesterday. But do we think they're going to make another move? And as I said before, I don't think it's going to be a big move coming. I think Olson is most likely out of the question because the A's can get more from another team because the Yankees are reluctant to give Volpe and probably a one or two more top 10 prospects, which I completely understand, especially if you're looking for Volpe to be up next year. it doesn't make sense for them to make that trade. Because even with Olson, the Yankees still have holes. And they're not, Olson will make them better. But if you get rid of Volpe and you're going to rely on Falefa for a couple of years, I mean, everything that you've been hearing about Dominguez, the star prospect outfielder, and Volpe, they should be really, really good players, if not great players. So I still think that it's addition to by subtraction when it comes to the Yankees in that trade. But once again, guys, that is one of the big trades that happened yesterday. We had a couple of more deals that got done yesterday. Sonny Gray got traded from Cincinnati to the Twins. Brad Boxberger signed with the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm just going over, the Ian Kennedy signed a 1-year deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks. It wasn't a lot going on. There was a couple of moves. Obviously, the Mets were out of Vino. Brad Hand with the Nationals. Nelson Cruz signed with the Nationals. Anibal Sanchez signed a minor league contract with the Nationals. So there was a lot of moves today, but it seems like a lot of things are going to pick up today. I do see Olson going somewhere, but I do not see him going to the Yankees. I still feel like Freeman is the favorite to go to the Dodgers, and the Braves, who have a better farm system than the Yankees, are going to lock up getting Olson. And I think the last first baseman that's left on the board for the Yankees is Anthony Rizzo. So with all that said, gonna say what up to everybody in the comments. Once again, guys, 100 viewers right away, guys. I really appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, just hit on that like button, guys. If you're new to the channel, you guys know what to do. Hit on that subscribe button. We'll be here for the next couple of hours going through all the news, all the rumors, and all your questions and thoughts and opinions about what has transpired as of right now. So Lane, Nick, Andrew, Nelson, MB, Sean, member of Talkin Mets with Rob, Nelson, Joe, Andrew, Andre, The Blind Beard, Transistor, RLP, Daniel again, Tegman, Grant, a member of Talkin Mets with Rob, Daniel, Sean, a member of Talkin Mets with Rob, Michael, Rocky, Reggie, Aiden, Aldir, La Potencia, RIP Rod, Pazoo. Keep on going all the way down the list, guys. Christian, Timothy. Let's see. Who else have we got in here? Dark Saints. V-Rush, Jeremy, Grant. All right, guys. So we went down the list, and then I'm going to start looking at your comments, guys. I know there's a lot of comments so far, so, once again, bear with me. I'm going to try to get to everybody. Lane says, what do the Mets sign? Who do the Mets sign? I feel like they're probably going to be – I wouldn't be surprised if you see more rumors about the Mets looking at the Hader situation a little bit more, but mostly bullpen today. I think they're going to focus on that. Nick says, Rob, is Freeman going back to the Braves? I still don't think so. I think the Dodgers are going to get him. For you Brave fans out there, I apologize, but I will drive him to L.A. to get him out of the NL East. Nick, yes, we just talked about Pete Alonso's horrific car accident, but he is okay. MB, wow, Mets are going to surprise us with moves. I think so. I think they're still going to get a big bat. And, as much as I want Kris Bryant, if there's a way for the Mets to get a 1-year deal on Correa, which seems like it's possible now that he's going to take a 1-year deal, I'll be all for it. It doesn't matter how much. It's only 1 year. The money's going to come off the books after this year, so it's not that big of a deal. And if he performs very well, if the Mets want to keep him, they can do that. But again, we all know that Jacob deGrom's going to opt out. He said it in his press conference, so the Mets are going to have to take care of him as well. So again, I don't think money's an issue for the Mets. So could they do both? Absolutely. But we're going to be here all day just waiting for the latest details, guys, on everything that's going on. Joe, what's up, buddy? The Blind Beard, I heard the Mets are getting Correa. Is that true? It hasn't been rumored. I brought it up because if he's going to be looking into a 1-year deal, I think it makes sense for a lot of teams, not just the teams that don't want to give him 10. There might be 1 or 2 teams that want to give him 8-9 years over $300 million, but there's going to be a lot more teams involved to actually go after Correa on a 1-year deal. A lot of teams can be involved. So I'm just getting a couple of information here. Just give me a second, guys. I just want to see what's going on. Let's see. Oh, that's not good. All right, so I just got a little bit about Marte right now. Met fans, listen up. Anthony DeComo says newly acquired, new Mets outfielder Starlin Marte has been dealing with a little oblique soreness, but his imaging results were not concerning. Marte didn't participate in full team workouts today, but Buck Showalter didn't express much concern. So once again, guys, it's an oblique soreness, not the end of the world. Obviously we're gonna watch that and see what happens. Buck Showalter already announced Jacob deGrom as opening day starter. Again, all signs are indicating that Jacob deGrom is 100%. He had all of second half of last season off and all of off season off as well. So that's great to hear. The Marte news is a little concerning, but I'm not worried about that yet. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next, but that's okay. So keep on going with the comments. Transistor, yes, we do need a lefty and a big bat. I completely understand. That's why I think that the Mets are. I think they had less options yesterday or a couple of days ago than they do now. I think the Mets see that. Look, the Astros weren't going to sign Carlos Correa for $300 million or 8 to 10 years. They're not doing that. The reason why they're back in discussions is because Correa is willing now to take a 1-year deal if he's not getting what he's going to get long term. And, there was a reason why he put up his house for sale in Houston. He truly believed he was going to be gone from there. But when there's a possibility of getting him for 1 year, I guarantee you're going to have all teams, including the Yankees, all in on him. No, absolutely. The Mets, the Yankees, probably half the league is probably going to be after Carlos Correa. But I think the Mets still got money to spend it and they're not afraid to spend it. So I thought it'd be a good idea. Why the hell not, right? Nobody expected the Mets to get Scherzer. So I still think it's a lot of possibilities. All right, Paul. You know what? I voted. I always vote on a poll, obviously, when I put them up, and I always put Freddie Freeman as well. I just feel like any day or any minute he's gonna sign. Like he's clearly looking at both offers. Clearly, the Braves gave him an offer, and the Dodgers. And to me, it seems like the deal from the Braves is much closer than a lot of us probably think the Dodgers offer is. Obviously, the Dodgers offer is probably more, but again, he's probably weighing over. If it's a $20 million difference, it's not that much considering the California tax and the no Georgia tax. So it's a big difference. So, I think he's going over certain things regarding what's the best option for his family. Yes, he's from he was born in California, but his wife's from Florida. Obviously, Georgia, Florida, not far at all. So, that could be an option too, what he's weighing over. This is basically his one big contract of his career. So, it might hurt it. Most of these players now take the most money. It's very, they usually get some backlash from the unions when they don't take the biggest contract or when they're a free agent. And that kind of puts pressure on them as well. But you know what? We've all been picking Freeman for how long now? For at least 5 days now, or 4 or 5 days. Daniel, 100%. I think maybe I have a feeling that one of them is probably going to be here today. I think the Mets are going to be focused on relief pitching, and I want Chafin. And, if you can trade for Rogers, great. If the Mets somehow think about getting Correa, that puts McNeil out of the picture at this moment. And you could probably trade McNeil for Rogers. And Rogers is very solid. I don't think you have to give McNeil, but McNeil would probably be on the trade block. Or if the Mets are willing to keep McNeil, which, by the way, McNeil changed his number to 1 now, and it was 6. So, keep on buying those jerseys. And as you can see, I went this morning to get Marte and Scherzer shirts from Dick's Sporting Goods. So just got to, put another couple of shirts to my collection. And with Correa, if the Mets somehow figure out getting a 1-year deal for Correa, you could see McNeil going to left field and platooning with Connor, and now Dominic Smith is probably the biggest trade piece the Mets have for teams who miss out on first base options. And that goes back to Oakland or maybe someone else that's looking for a first base option. Maybe the Yankees lose out on all the first basemen that are available, and maybe the Mets and Yankees can somehow come up with a trade, which is probably unlikely. But hey, listen, when both teams need something, sometimes you have to do a trade outside the box, and doing it with your crosstown rivals, it kind of makes sense, right? If the Yankees don't make a trade for Olson, if the Yankees don't get Freeman or Rizzo, they seem like they're probably done with Luke Voit. Dom Smith, and now we can look at maybe a Yankees reliever that we might want to look at, something like that benefits both teams. Grant, in and out today, that's cool. Michael, I couldn't wait to hear your opinion about this. Even on, all day on, all morning on sports radio, a lot of Yankee fans weren't happy. They were happy that Sanchez is gone, but they weren't happy that the Yankees got Donaldson. Falefa is a fine option. You seem like you were going to get a stopgap shortstop anyway. And, you got a catcher that's okay, but he's not going to butcher the ball. So they're going defense-oriented in shortstop and the catcher position. So I know a lot of Yankee fans are not happy with it, but you found a way to get rid of Gary Sanchez, which is a plus. Donaldson can either be very good or injured. It's not really much in between. And he also does strike out a lot too, which has been a Yankees problem as well. But it's basically a baseball problem. So, I wouldn't go too crazy about this deal as of yet. If the Yankees don't do nothing else big, then I'm concerned. Like I would have probably just not made this trade and kept Gio Urshela, and maybe just trade Sanchez so you can get him out of New York. But I was a little shocked. I fell asleep and I woke up and I saw the trade. I was out cold by like 10 o'clock last night. I was tired. So I missed that trade live, but it didn't get me. I was, it's not like a wow moment when I saw that. I was like, okay, I see why they did that. They thought Sanchez was not gonna pan out to what they thought he was gonna be, which is fine. And in that aspect, it's an addition by subtraction. But let's see what else the Yankees do. Maybe they are in on Olson. Maybe Cashman's like, you know what? Maybe we have to give up Volpe to get the first baseman that we really need. But I hardly doubt that. I mean, I honestly think the Yankees are a bit crazy to, see, I don't see Cashman sending Volpe. I just don't see it. Maybe Peraza. But again, Cashman is not the guy to give away give away prospects like that. He always holds on to his prospects, which sometimes can be a detriment in situations where the Yankees have a necessity at certain positions. Yeah, Reggie, but you know what? The Twins now are in on those pitchers for the A's. So, little by little, players are coming off the board, either free agent wise or trade wise, Reggie. That is a real problem for the Yankees. These teams that are going to be trading with the Yankees, if there's less guys on the board for free agency that the Yankees can get, or they're going away very quickly, the A's are going to try to fleece the Yankees. And that's what they're doing now. Look, the A's and the Yankees, they don't have, a lot, they made trades in the past. The Yankees signed a couple of those A's along. We know who they are. But when it comes to the A's, I don't think the A's are going to be the Yankees' first choice in a trade scenario. They have a lot of history. I doubt Billy Beane is going to. There's a lot of teams that can give better prospects or a better deal package for any of the guys that they have. If it's Manaea, Chapman, Montas, or Olson, there's a lot of teams. I mean, look what the Twins are doing. The Twins are making moves here, and they have a decent farm system. So, if Cashman is not willing to give up Peraza or Volpe, you're not going to get Olson. It's just that simple. There's other teams out there that can give more. So what can you say? And yes, Nick, I saw the Tatis fractured his wrist. Who knows how he did it, but that doesn't matter. He's going to be out 3 months with that surgery. That's very unfortunate. That puts the Padres in a little bit of a bind. They lose their shortstop for a couple of months. What are they going to do? Maybe they decide to go after Correa for 1 year. And, when Tatis comes back, you'll figure out what you have to do. Maybe you'll put Correa at second. Maybe you'll do that. Maybe you'll put Correa at third. They might actually look at that now, especially if they're going to think about trading Will Myers and Hosmer to relieve some payroll flexibility for them. There might be an option with that too. So there's so many moving parts. I mean, so much happened over the last 24 hours where you're like, wow, things look like they're picking up. Yankee fans hate the trade, or most of them do. I mean, there was one guy on WFAN this morning that I thought he was going to have a heart attack. Like, he was like, how can the Yankees get Josh Donaldson? It's ridiculous. That doesn't make no sense. We got another strikeout guy, an older age third baseman who is always injured, has a bad attitude. Who knows how he's going to be with Cole? Like, it's just a whole lot of nonsense. But Falefa is somebody I think the Yankee fans are going to like. He's a Gold Glover. And you know what? Not every time you're going to need a big bat that also can play good defense in every position. It's just, it's not the Yankees of, the early 2000s, late 2000s. They're not them anymore. And you know what? Especially when you have the pitching staff that is not at a top tier pitching staff, you definitely want good defense behind your pitchers. And there was enough times when Gary Sanchez couldn't catch a ball behind the plate, when Torres was bobbling the ball, even Gio Urshela, even though Yankee fans like him, didn't have a great defensive year last year. And then you had Luke Voit, who was a butcher at first base as well. So putting more defensive-minded guys around your pitching staff might help them in certain situations, getting out of innings and stuff like that. So once again, the Yankees do need to do something else to make it worth what they just did. Now, some people, this wasn't a report or anything like that. Fans are just talking on the radio. They're saying, maybe the Yankees are going to flip Donaldson and make a trade somewhere else. Somebody said, I doubt that's going to happen, but maybe they'll flip Josh Donaldson in a deal with whatever prospects to Oakland to get Olson. Going back to his roots with Donaldson, that's a possibility. But then, the Yankees are going to basically be paying the A's to take Donaldson just to get what they want. I don't know if that's going to happen either, but that was something that somebody brought up as well, and I thought I'd bring it to your attention. Rocky, as long as the Phillies sign in ex-Mets, you can be sure the Phillies are going nowhere. That it's kind of funny. Over the last 3 years, they signed, Familia now, and Wheeler early a couple of years ago. It's kind of funny though. But you know what? Look, they're trying though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know they need a bullpen, and the bullpen killed them over the last couple of years. I'm still surprised they haven't signed a big bat, which I think they're going to do. It's kind of funny because, at least they're trying to get their bullpen somewhat better. And anytime with bullpens, 1 year you can have a great bullpen, and the following year with the same bullpen, they can be a dumpster fire. So, bullpens are so volatile now. I don't think it matters on who you get. It's just a matter of all those guys going to perform that year. So, you always want the Josh Haders of the world, the Iglesias of the world, the Hendricks, Kellys, guys like that. But at the end of the day, guys, bullpen is a year-by-year proposition. And, the Mets bullpen wasn't great last year. They might be great this year. The same thing with the Yankees. They might be bad this year or bad last year, and they're good this year. So, Michael, but there's rumors the Yankees are gonna stick to signing Rizzo back. If that happens, I'm done. Well, yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest possibility. You're probably gonna get Rizzo. Again, the Yankees. Look, I think if Cashman was allowed to go over the luxury tax, I think you would have probably at least did everything you can to get Freeman. Again, I don't know if Freeman would want to come to the Yankees, but I do think that the Yankees would have every opportunity to actually get Freeman. And, they possibly would have tried to go after somebody else. That's an option as well. But Rizzo seems like the option for the Yankees. Sorry, I'm just getting notifications here. I just want to make sure I'm not seeing any breaking news or something. Jorge Soler to the Astros. That's a big possibility. Yeah, they did take $50 million. The Twins did. Well, the Yankees are only taking on 75%. The Twins are taking on 25% of the contract. So again, with them trading Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez, what is Donaldson's contract is around $21-22 million. If they take 75% of that, what is it, like $17 million? And with Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez that make a combined around $14-15 million, well, guess what? You're only paying Donaldson about $3 million a year. With the increases of Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela with arbitration eligible, who are going to make more every year until they're a free agent. So it's basically a wash payroll wise. So, I mean, and that should be more of an indication why they're not going to go after Correa, Story, or even Freeman, because they're clearly going to stay under the luxury tax. And something that the Yankees also do is try to keep a little flexibility under the cap just in case they got to make a trade to better their team during the trade deadline if they need a pitcher or if they need a hitter. So there you go. I'm just keep on going over the comments, guys. So just give me a second so I can just see what everybody's saying. So if Correa signs a 1-year deal with the Mets, he plays third base. I think he would go to third base. Or see again. I don't know what he'll feel comfortable in, but I mean, I guess the Mets will actually. I'm sorry. I saw something about opening day. There was a time change in the Mets opening day. Obviously, it's probably going to be 1:00. Yeah. So I think if you do sign Correa, or if you're in talks with him, ask him if he's comfortable playing either second or third, and he'll tell you. I mean, I think he could probably play second or third. It doesn't matter. I'd rather him in that double play combination with Correa. The Puerto Rican connection. They played it on the Puerto Rican team in the World Baseball Classic and all that, so they're familiar with each other. But we'll see. So just going to check Twitter really quickly before I get into more of your comments, because I'm getting notifications all over the place, and sometimes that can mean good thing, but we'll see. So Chris Bassett is obviously in camp today with the Mets. He said, we only have one goal, and that's to win it all. I like that mentality. Just continue to go over Twitter. So Falefa is already at Yankees camp. He's already taking batting practice right now. So there you go, Yankee fans. Let's see. It's beautiful looking at the timeline and seeing baseball pitchers all over the place and guys working out. Wonderful. I love it. John McCone, who is an ex-Chicago Cub, ex-New York Met, and Long Island Duck. Well, he's not really a reporter, but he has a check mark. He was a former player. He tweeted about an hour ago, say what you... I'm sorry, wrong one. Where the hell did he say it? Hold on. Well, he did say it somewhere. Okay, so he said about... Actually, around midnight tonight, he said he's hearing that the Yankees are closing in on a big signing, but that was at midnight. I don't know how true that is, because I don't see that, honestly. Maybe he got mixed up, and the Yankees were talking about a big trade, not a signing, and that was the Chapman deal. I mean, not Chapman. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I don't want to make anybody Yankee fans go crazy, but the Donaldson deal. Sorry. So just still going over what's going on right now in the newsreel, but we'll just see if anything is worth noting at the moment. Nope. Okay, cool. So just going to continue with your comments until we get more news. So guys, once again, just ask me questions, give me your opinions, let me know what you think your team should do, and we'll keep on talking about it for the next couple of hours until we get some relevant news that we can talk about. Christian, addition by subtraction, that's exactly what it is. Like, I don't care who's back there. As long as you got a defensive catcher, any offense, nowadays, there's maybe one or two catchers that you can expect a good offense from. What, Real Muto, Perez, Salvador Perez, Real Muto, that's about it. Every other catcher is defense oriented, and whatever you get offensively is a bonus. So I think the Yankees finally just said, all right, we got to go defensive catcher, and I think that makes sense for them. Christian, see, this is why I'm not killing the Yankees for that deal, because there was a lot of Mets fans last year that wanted the Mets to get Donaldson in the trade. So I wasn't really one of them. Obviously it's an upgrade over what we had, but I wasn't a big advocate of that. And there was a lot of Mets fans. So, some Mets fans will be hypocritical at this moment. Absolutely. And probably like, oh, look what you did. You just got an injury-prone aging third baseman. But they were the same ones last year during the trade deadline when we heard the rumors about Donaldson. They wanted them. So, you're going to hear a lot of hypocritical Mets fans. And on this trade, I'm not one of them. That were the ones that wanted to get Donaldson in the trade. And now they're laughing at the Yankees. And I don't think that's fair because, as you guys know, I try to be as fair as possible when it comes to stuff and try to take my Mets bias out of it, which I know sometimes it gets through the screen a little bit. But when I try to be fair in this situation, there's a lot of Mets fans during the trade deadline last year, or even a little bit during the offseason this year, that wanted the Mets to go after Donaldson. So before I sound hypocritical, I'm not going to say, oh, look, haha, the Yankees just made a stupid trade. Because most Mets fans, or at least the majority of them, would have been okay with trading for Josh Donaldson. So, but he is injury risk for sure. I don't know if he's technically a cancer. I know he's not a great clubhouse guy. He turns people the wrong way. That's a big reason why the Mets didn't sign a lot of the guys like Stroman and Baez, because they were toxic in the clubhouse and not everybody got along with them. Donaldson might, ruffle some feathers a little bit in the clubhouse, but you know what? I always thought the Yankees were a very soft team, honestly. They need a little bit of grit. They need a little bit of attitude. And I didn't think they had that over the last couple of years. Maybe Donaldson will bring that. Again, if he doesn't perform, I think the attitude is going to weigh thin. But we'll see. RIP, actually, thoughts on the spring training hats. This is the one year I'm not very happy with them. Like the one last year that had, that had this with the sunglasses and all this one, and it looked like an actual regular baseball cap. It's nice. This one's a little weird because it got that little plastic like holes in the back of it. It's okay, and the spring training logo is ugly. But I'm a sucker. I buy all the spring training hats every year, so I'm not a big fan of them, but I like to, collect them. So I'm gonna get one, that's for sure. I already got my new teammates. Oh, not teammates, my new players behind me right now with Marte and Scherzer. So I always buy that hat, so I'm gonna pick it up. Usually I would have been in Port St. Lucie. I would have bought it there, but I'm just gonna probably buy it. I didn't see Dick's Sporting Goods have it yet. They usually do. So if they don't have it, I'll just buy it online. Let's see. What else do we got in these comments? Yeah, I can't. Falefa can actually play catcher, but the Yankees are going to use him as a shortstop. And you got Higashioka. The catcher you got from the Twins. He's not great. but he's a defensive catcher. And you're probably going to have a platoon job with these two guys. And I don't think that's the end of the world. It honestly is not. Yeah, Dark, thank God Alonso is fine. He looked a little rattled when they showed him today in that video walking into the facilities. He looked rattled. Like obviously, your life probably flashed before you. But I'm glad he's healthy. He's not injured to the point where he can't play. So that's good. He got to get his mind right for sure. That's just a scary situation. But glad he's okay. And we get Pete Alonso ready to go for the season. Yeah, Michael, I don't think there's a lot of Yankee fans. I was texting. I didn't go to work. I didn't have work today or last night, so I didn't get like a live reaction with a lot of my coworkers. But I got a few texts from them. None of them were happy. They were happy with Sanchez out. They weren't technically happy with Urshela leaving, but they weren't satisfied. They weren't happy or excited about that trade. So I tend to agree with you. Yeah, Tegman, I agree with that. That's why I think if Correa is finally, or at least thinking about that 1 year deal, I totally think that the Mets will probably call up and say, hey, what are these teams offering you for 1 year? They can easily outbid probably everybody. And it looks like the Dodgers are not going to look for a shortstop. So, you don't have to worry about them outspending you. So who's really going to outspend you? Are the Astros going to go after him around for a 1 year, $30 million deal, $32 million deal? If I was the Mets, I would be willing to go up to a 1 year 40. I think, for a 1 year deal, again, there's no risk involved. Carlos Correa is in his prime. He's going to perform. For 1 year, it's not that much on the payroll, especially if you go over that 290 tax, which the Mets are going to. They're already paying the top tier tax anyway, and the draft pick losing 10 spots. They're gonna lose it anyway, so you might as well get everybody you can in that situation. So I do think the Mets can look into getting Correa. Not saying they are. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying it's not rumored. We haven't heard anything about the Mets, but I feel pretty confident the Mets are going to make a call if they think that Correa is going to take a 1 year deal. Rocky, we would be in trouble, honestly. Brett, I don't know if they're gonna do that. I don't think right now. I don't think the Cubs. I think the Cubs are trying to get Correa. So, why sign Stroman? Get Contreras. The Yankees and the Cubs will get rid of Contreras at this point. Doesn't really make sense at that moment. They were Wilson Contreras actually talked yesterday. In regards, they asked him about the newly acquired Stroman, and everything like that. And then they asked him about, his contract extension, and he says he has no problem talking to the Cubs about an extension during the spring training, but not during the season. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, obviously that would be a good deal, but again, you don't need an offensive catcher. You do not need that. The Yankees have an offense. You don't need to surround your team with an offensive catcher. There's not, almost every team doesn't have that option. Doesn't have a catcher that, is a powerhouse offensively. There's not a lot of Mike Piazzas anymore. There's not a lot of Jorge Posadas anymore. There's no guys like that. Maybe 2 or 3, but not that much. So I think it was in that situation where the Yankees finally changed their mind on Sanchez. Cashman was in love with Sanchez, and he finally realized that he would rather have 2 guys in the backstop that they can platoon, that can work with a pitching staff, and they don't have to worry about. And I think that's a big load off the Yankees mindset of, we could throw out Higashioka or Brevin right now, and we'll know we'll have a good defensive day. And that's it. And I don't think the Yankees are going to go after Contreras. Because, if you're going to make a trade, the Cubs are going to want a prospect or maybe 2 for Contreras. Now you got to take on them, having him a free agent in a year. And you're going to have to sign him. So you're going to lose prospects and have to sign Contreras. So I don't think that's going to happen. Oh yeah, of course they're better than with Freeman, but you know, I'm not naive enough to think that the Dodgers won't outspend the Braves. And listen, the union is putting pressure on Freddie Freeman. The union worked very hard to get the luxury tax up a little bit, so more players can get paid more money. The union would be very upset and put a lot of pressure on Freddie Freeman to take the most dollars, even if he doesn't want to stay with the Braves. We've seen that all the time. Albert Pujols was never expected to leave the Cardinals. The Angels gave him an outrageous amount of money. He went there. A-Rod, nobody thought he was going to go to Texas. He went to Texas. You know, it's all about the money. They're going to the highest bidder. If it's not extension talks, while they're still under contract, then you could say, okay, I could see them staying with the Braves. But because he has other offers and competition for his services, I can easily see the Dodgers outspending the Braves, and he's going to go to the highest bidder. Yeah, Christian, the Phillies can keep taking on castoffs so they can keep blowing games. I guess you can say that, but you know what? Gio Scheller, he was injured the last year and a half, but at least Gio Scheller was younger, and his defense is very good. Now IKF is fine. Again, I hate that WAR stat. Honestly, I think it's a stupid stat. And if this is the problem with analytics, there's too many teams that are looking at WAR stats to make some decisions, and it's kind of stupid. There's players out there that don't have great WARs, but they are good players. I just don't like that WAR stat. And listen, that WAR stop is not going to determine if the Yankees make the playoffs or not. I tell you that. Jeremy says, go Dodgers. V. Russ goes, let's go Mets. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Reggie. I'm not saying, look, again, they're better yesterday or today than they were 24 hours ago. That's obvious. I didn't say, they moved the needle to 100, but you know what? The Yankees showed a pulse. They made a deal. So, Cashman's just not twiggling his fingers. Yankee fans were clamoring for them to do something. Well, they did something. It's not exactly what you wanted, but, everybody's blaming, hopefully you don't blame Cashman in this situation, because he's probably stuck staying under the luxury tax, and there's not a lot of room in that aspect. So he's got to be smart about it. He's got to make very educated trades to make things happen, or smart signings that's not going to move the needle, but it's going to actually try to make the Yankees better. Again, I think Olson's out of the question, because I think there's just too many teams that are involved with Olson, and specifically the Braves, to have a better prospect pool to pick from. And the Yankees need these prospects, the Dominguez, the the Volpes of the world, to stick around, because that's their future. And it seems like the Yankees are not getting rid of them. The Braves, all their young stars are up, and they still got a very good farm system. So they could probably be willing to give their top, their number one prospect, maybe even number two, to get what they want, especially if Freeman leaves to get Olson. And again, I told you this, guys, yesterday. If you guys weren't here, I'm going to repeat it. Yankee fans should be rooting for Freddie Freeman to go back to the Braves, because if that happens, that's one less suitor for Matt Olson. And now the Yankees could be in the driver's seat, where maybe the trade, the ask for Olson goes a little bit down, because Oakland is between a rock and a hard place, because there ain't a lot of teams looking for a first baseman in that aspect. Maybe the Twins, they're already speaking to Oakland about their starting pitchers, Montas and Manaea. Maybe they are looking to, I know they got Sanu as a first baseman, but you also have a DH as well. Why would the Twins say no to Freddie Freeman? I'm sorry, not Freddie Freeman, Olson. If they are making that trade, the Twins have prospects that they're willing to trade. So, again, I think the Yankee fans need to root for Freeman going back to the Braves for any chance of getting Olson. Do the Yankees do anything? Yes, they got Josh Donaldson and kind of Falefa from the Twins, and a catcher, which he's not a great catcher. Braunraft, I think his name is Brenraff. I forgot. I can't pronounce it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. For Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela. RLP, where's your comment? Let's see. No, I don't agree he's staying with the Braves, and I have no problem. I'm telling you that the Braves are stupid for letting him go. And again, I will gladly drive Freeman across country to LA because I don't want to see him with the Braves. Just continuing to look at your comments, guys. So once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, please don't forget to hit on that like button so we can get more people on the stream and we can continue to talk baseball and free agent frenzy and all the trades that might happen and just your thoughts and opinions and questions, guys. Yeah, Lindor was out. Yeah, but so it's again, the oblique situation where Marte, they had an MRI. There was nothing serious there. Again, give him a couple of days of rest. He should be okay. Andy, I don't know. I think the Dodgers are getting Freeman, but I mean that hasn't been confirmed over the last day or two. So we'll see. Michael, this does make them a little better. I think it makes them a little better. They're not going to be, they still need to make moves to be at the top of the East, but we'll see. It's not over yet. Transistor, what do you think we'll get out of McGill Peterson this year? Well, it's pretty obvious that none of these guys are going to be in the rotation now since the acquisition of Bassett. So it's either I think McGill and Peterson are going to fight it out for the long man role in the bullpen, and whoever wins stays on the roster. Whoever loses that doesn't perform well or doesn't win the job are going to be depth pieces in the minor leagues. I think the Mets are probably favoring McGill a little bit because they see what he can do. And I think they don't want to mess with Peterson, especially coming from injury, to put in the bullpen. So I think McGill has the lead in this aspect. And they would probably want Peterson to continue getting work and getting starts in the minors. And I can see McGill being a long man, coming in when a pitcher doesn't do well, coming in like the third inning or something like that, and making spot starts here or there. I think the Mets are more comfortable putting McGill in as a long man. Ken, how you doing, buddy? Lucario, how you doing? Richard say Yankees suck. Well, you know what? It's not over yet. It is not over yet. Tyler, yes, the Jays are in on Schwarber. Sorry, the Jays are in on Schwarber, so we'll see what happens there. I could see, I don't think the Yankees are going to go. The Phillies could be after Schwarber too. There was a little bit of rumors about that as well. Look, you know what? The Twins probably X. They needed the third baseman. Donaldson's gone, so they needed the third baseman. So that was probably an ask from the Twins. Take the money from Donaldson. We want Gio Urshela. We traded out catcher, so we need a catcher, and that was probably the conversation. V-Rush, that's a lot. I doubt that's going to happen. Hey, Sledge, what's up? Yeah, we talked about Marte with his injury and his oblique. Again, there was no serious damage in the MRI. He should be okay. It's only oblique soreness. It's not an oblique strain. So if there was an oblique strain, he'll probably be out a little while. But it's not a strain. They'll probably rest him, rehab him a few days, and he'll be okay. Exile, yeah, the Angels are not making any moves mostly. I mean, they re-signed their closer, Iglesias. They got Syndergaard. They still need a little bit more starting pitching. They need bullpen help. I mean, sooner or later they have to start getting some pitching. I mean, how many more years are going to waste of Trout? Jaden, what is my prediction with the Dodgers? I think the Dodgers are going all out to get Freeman. I think they're doing everything they can to get Freddie Freeman. I think it makes sense for them. They can move Muncy back to second base. And I also think that they'll probably, they lost Joe Kelly, so look for them to look for another bullpen arm as well. Rich is very excited about our Mets. I don't see the Padres moving Machado. I think it's more Hosmer and Will Myers, which was rumored for them to trade. They want to get rid of those salaries. Well, we all know, Reggie, that Hal is nothing like George. That's obvious. Michael, I'm not crazy about it. I think he's just a replacement for Familia. He can be just as bad as Familia, but I honestly think he's hot and cold, just like Familia. When his slider's on, he's nearly untouchable. But at least with Familia, he can pitch to lefties and righties. Ottavino is basically a right-hander specialist. He can't pitch to left-handers. His slider doesn't work perfectly. Doesn't work well with lefties on at bat. So he's a right-hander specialist. So, I would rather have Familia over Ottavino because at least I know Familia can actually pitch against lefties and righties. Ottavino can't pitch against lefties. No news on Conforto, Thomas. No news. So I'm just going to check Twitter right now, guys. Let's see. What do we got? What is going on in the rumor mill? Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, don't forget to hit on that like button, guys. Let's get it way past 100 today. We almost got to 200 yesterday. Let's try to get it to 170, 180 to 200 today. It's all about you guys making that happen. So if you don't mind, please hit on that like button, guys. We got 213 people in the chat in the stream right now. So don't be shy, guys. Say what's up in the chat. We are all here having fun. No question is a dumb question, especially in baseball terms. Voice your frustrations if your team's not doing nothing, or if it's a move you didn't like your team make. Say what's up. Just checking Twitter, guys. Let's give me a second. Seeing if I got any more information for you guys. Well, here we go. I mean, it's a very small move, but Jake Marisnick, Met fans know him well, signs a non-roster invitee deal with the Rangers. That's from Pat Ragazzo. Adam Schefter, because it's also NFL free agent frenzy starting today. For you Jet fans out there, Lakin Tomlinson intends to sign with the New York Jets. So that is a big move for the Jets. Helping out with that line a little bit. So for you Jet fans, there you go. I know that's not baseball news, but it is NFL free agency day. Anthony DiComo says SML will broker 6 of the Mets' 8 spring home games. The network unites with Gary Keith and Ron, calling the game starting Sunday, March 20th, which is their home opener at Clover Park. All right, let's check more baseball news here, guys. So, really nothing going on in Marisnick to the Rangers that we just talked about. DeGrom will start opening day, so he seems 100% ready to go. Yep. All right, so not much going on. Okay, so we got something about Robinson Cano. This is from Tim Britton. Showalter said Robinson Cano addressed the team today with a tone that could be described as apologetic. Said Cano can be a big part of the team. Robbie can hit when he's 50. I don't agree. I think he's still got back speed, but I don't expect him to be the 25, 30 home run guy. I think he can still bat 280, but I mean, I don't agree 100% with Buck Showalter, but they're going to give Cano a chance. That's for sure. Scott Scher, Seiya Suzuki is the Japanese outfielder superstar from Japan that got posted before the lockout, and it looks like he is going to sign. I didn't hear anything that he's not going to come to the major league, so we're just waiting on that. But again, I think Seiya Suzuki is probably going to be one of the last free agent signings with the outfield because there's other big name outfielders, Castellanos, Conforto, and you can consider Kris Bryant as an outfield option. I think he's waiting for everybody else to sign so he sees where's his options. Reggie, well, I mean, if you want Correa to come to the Yankees and spend $300 million, Judge is probably gone. Yeah, it's possible. I still think the Cubs are probably thinking about it. But yeah, they do need an outfield. They do need a DH. You know, maybe they'll look into Castellanos again, and maybe they will. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Hey, Victor, how you doing? The big signing and trade. Well, the trade, the Yankees made with getting Josh Donaldson and one of the Twins catchers for Gio Scheller and Gary Sanchez. So some people called it a blockbuster. I'm not going to call it a blockbuster. You know, it was kind of a interesting deal. So that's about it. You know, we all know Nelson Cruz signed with the Nationals. Brad Hand signed with the Phillies. And that's basically all the notable names that have been moving around to different teams. Preston, yeah, I was looking at a Mariners blog deal. Yes, actually last night, just because I like to check out things like that because I'm a baseball nut. There was people even saying that, like, what the hell is wrong with the Poto? Why ain't he doing anything yet? I understand. I think he's going to be on Kris Bryant for sure. I'm not sure why the Bryant market hasn't really developed to the point where we're hearing things, but we'll see. Yeah, all of a sudden the Mets are becoming a lot more right-handed dominant, and also the Mets do need a lefty arm. Look for them to get Chafin. Maybe look into Taylor Rogers on the Twins. Since the Twins are making a lot of deals, maybe the Mets can take advantage of that. Skyler Donaldson, as old as he is, that ain't gonna work behind the plate. Well, I think the Tigers need some starting pitching. A lot of the bigger names are gone already, so I don't know if the Tigers are looking to make a trade, which I doubt because they're still technically in rebuild mode a little bit. So I can see them probably get a bullpen arm or two. I don't think they're going to do anything big anymore. Baez was your big signing. Oh, Donaldson, there is taking all that contract. But again, if you look at Sanchez and Gio Urshela's contract, in total, it's like around $13-14 million. Donaldson's making 22. Minus that, what is that? $8 million. So the Yankees are paying $8 million a year for Josh Donaldson. So it's not a lot of money that's going on the books there. So even though they're taking all that money, the Twins are the Yankees got rid of around $13 to $14 million for getting rid of Urshela and Sanchez. So it's not a lot of money. It's $8 or $9 million for Donaldson. Well, Michael, I don't think it's the money means that much to him. The problem is we just went through a lockout where the players were trying to increase luxury tax and increase economically on every issue. And now they got the luxury tax, which is a big issue, to increase because they want more players to get more money. It's going to be very difficult if the Dodgers offer $30 to $40 million more in total contract to Freeman and he doesn't take it because he wants to stay with the Braves. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Freeman to take that bigger deal. That's the bigger problem. That's why it's probably taken so long. Dean, don't worry. It's only a oblique soreness. and it's not a little oblique strain, and the MRI came back clean. So a couple of days you should be okay. It's not a strain, so we shouldn't worry too much. All right, I'm finding some news here. Okay, guys, so talking about Seiya Suzuki, there's reports that the Padres are bringing in Seiya Suzuki, signing Seiya Suzuki for 5 years, $70 million. So Seiya Suzuki is reportedly off the board for teams that were looking to get him. So he's going to be a San Diego Padre. So look for Will Myers to get traded now. And that's probably the big reason why they're trying to shed some payroll. And you know what? Now they got that big power bat in Suzuki that can help them out with Tatis being out for the next couple of months. And Buster Olney just tweeted, a lot of rumblings that the Oakland Athletics are closer to moving Matt Olson. The three teams most aggressively pursuing a left-handed hitting first baseman appears to be the Yankees, Braves, and Dodgers. Once again, guys, I still don't think the Yankees are going to have the best offer. If Volpe or Peraza is not on the table, pretty sure that the Braves and the Dodgers are probably the team. Again, it's either going to be the Braves or the Dodgers that are probably the favorite in that scenario with Olson, because whoever loses out on Freeman is probably going to get Olson. Okay, so here we go, guys. There was another situation. Listen up if there's any Padre fans out there in the stream. Another report saying multiple people took down tweets that reports that Suzuki did sign with the Padres, because some people are reporting that it's not accurate. So hold the horses on that one a little bit. Again, it's like a 5-minute difference of tweets. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe it was just bad reporting, but we'll see. So Seiya Suzuki, apparently it's not accurate that he signed a 5-year, $70 million deal with the Padres. And if you are a Met fan, guys, they're sending everybody to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Mets organization. They're giving 60% off tickets. I think it's over from Sunday to Friday games. Saturday games is not part of the deal. So Sunday through Friday is 60% off certain areas of the stadium to get into Citi Field. So if you're looking to buy some tickets for the Mets, go ahead now. It's 60% off. All righty. Okay, cool. So let's keep on going. So we're looking for Olson news to happen rather quickly, guys. And maybe that will actually be very interesting to see where he goes. I really, really think that Olson's going to be gone today. So stick around. Share the stream. Hit that like button, guys. 244 people in the stream right now, guys. Absolutely love it. Bring your questions. Voice your frustrations. Let me know what you want your team to do, guys. That's why we're here, to have some entertainment during this MLB free agent frenzy. And basically, it's been basically ML trade rumor frenzy over the last couple of days since the lockout has ended. All the players have reported spring training is 100% ready to go. Waiting for games by the end of the week, guys. So we're finally going to have spring training baseball and 3 weeks of it until the season starts on April 7th. And my Mets will be in Washington, D.C., facing the Washington Nationals. And the Yankees will be at home against their hated rival, the Boston Red Sox. So, Yankee fans, listen up. It sounds like Olson, like I just said, it was going to happen quickly, is going to the Atlanta Braves. That has just been reported. Again, guys, clearly the Oakland A's and the Braves are in agreement on a trade that will send the first baseman Matt Olson to the Braves. Sources familiar with the deal. So clearly Freeman is probably all on board going to the Dodgers. And there you go, guys. The Yankees did lose out on Matt Olson. Freeman is clearly gone if the Braves are making that trade. Look for the Freeman deal to happen any minute now when it comes to the Dodgers. So Yankees lose out on Olson. So I know Michael's not going to be happy with that, and Yankee fans are not going to be happy. Again, it was pretty clear that the Atlanta Braves had the best prospects to give the Oakland A's. So we're waiting for more details, and this is a Jeff Passan report. Atlanta and Oakland are in agreement on a trade that will send star first baseman Matt Oakland to the Atlanta Braves. So it's looking more and more like Freddie Freeman is clearly gone from the Atlanta Braves, and probably very soon you're going to hear that the Dodgers have signed Freeman. So I'm going to put that up right there on the screen so everybody is coming in, gets it. Give me 1 second, guys, so I can put that breaking news. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry for the holdup. All right, guys. So I'm just going to put it up for the people that are just tuning in. So once again, guys, breaking news. Matt Olson has been traded to the Atlanta Braves. Waiting on the details on who's in the deal that is going to Oakland. So the Yankees did lose out on Matt Olson, which I was not shocked about because I didn't think the Yankees were willing to give up what the A's wanted. And the Braves do have a better farm system. So Freeman's probably you're going to hear news about Freeman going to the Dodgers very, very quickly. And we will see what's going to happen with the Yankees now, which it's pretty obvious that Rizzo is the only option the Yankees are going to have. So there you go, guys. Freeman out of Atlanta. Atlanta just traded for Matt Olson. It's been confirmed by Jeff Passan. We're just waiting on the details of the deal. So Olson to Atlanta, Freeman out of Atlanta. Look to see Freeman signing very shortly, probably with the Dodgers, unless the Yankees are in desperate mode right now, and Cashman is probably on his hands and knees praying or begging Hal Steinbrenner to open the pocketbooks to get Freddie Freeman, because as of right now, it's looking like Anthony Rizzo is going to be a Yankee, most likely. So I'm just going to look at your comments, guys. I know you guys are going to be talking about this, so I'm going to go to the bottom of the list right now just to see. Let's see. What else do we got here? Well, Bowling with AC. Clearly, that's not happening. The Yankees were probably in on it, but again, they weren't going to give the best deal. So Met fans are probably a little bit happy that Freeman's out of the division. But again, Matt Olson's not a bad player at all. He's pretty damn good. All right, so let me just make sure. Once again, people are retweeting the Jeff Passan news about Atlanta and Oakland, so they're in agreement, guys. Yankees lost out on Olson right now. MLB Pipeline just said the Braves have reportedly acquired All-Star first baseman Matt Olson. So Yankee fans, not looking good for you guys with regards to first base. Maybe the Yankees will pivot somewhere else. Yeah, Joe, I kind of agree that the A's were sending probably a lot of rumors out there, leaking it so they can drive the price up. And again, I've been talking about this for the last hour with the Yankees. Since the Yankees, made that trade for Donaldson, it was clear that the Yankees have to do something else. They can't just make that trade and think it's going to be okay. And again, I think the Yankees were trying to get Olson, but once again, we know what Billy Beane does. He wants prospects for his big stars. That's all he wants. And the asking price, according to the rumors, was Volpe. And the Yankees weren't doing that. And maybe the Yankees were trying to, shift prospects around, thinking that, hey, we'll give you Peraza and we'll give you a couple other guys. Maybe even offered Gleyber Torres. But the A's didn't want that. I'm telling you right now, I guarantee you it's probably 2 or 3 players that are going. Okay, so here we go. We got the details. So, again, here, according to Jeff Passan, massive haul from Matt Olson, the Braves' new first baseman. They gave outfielder Christian Pache, Shea Laniglers, Ryan Cusick, and Joey Estes for Matt Olson. That is a huge deal. That is a huge haul back for the Oakland A's. So the Yankees were never touching that package, not even close. So to look at the Braves' top prospects, we're going to do that right now. We're going to go over it right now, so we'll see what they actually gave up, because I'm not familiar with everybody's. All right, so let's see. They gave their number 3 prospect, their number 6 prospect, number 8 prospect, and number 11 prospect. So they gave 3 in their top 10. So they gave the 3, 6, and 8 prospects. So they gave 3 top 10 prospects and a top 11 prospect for Olson. So the Yankees weren't touching that. The Yankees would go nowhere near that. The only way they would do that if they would have traded Volpe, Peraza, and probably 2 other prospects out of their top 10. So they weren't doing that. So there was no way the Yankees were touching that package for the Braves. Like I said, the Braves had prospects to spare, especially in their top 10. They still keep their number 1 and number 2 prospect in Harris and Grissom, but they lose Langlers, who's a catcher. We know Christian Pache is an outfielder, and Cusick is a right-handed pitcher in low A ball, and Joey Estes is another right-handed pitcher in low A ball. So exactly what I thought was going to happen. Billy Beane loves his prospects. So with the Mets trade and now the Braves trade, he's got in total 6 prospects in a deal already. That is all in the top 20 prospects from each team. He got 4 in his top 15 with the Braves, and he got 2 in the top 20 in the Mets system. So he's really getting all them prospects in, and that's what Billy Beane does. So that's why I said it was a real stretch. If Volpe wasn't part of the deal and Peraza wasn't part of the deal, there's no way the Yankees were going to get it. So again, guys, we're going to probably hear the Freeman news to LA rather quickly, unless the Yankees pivot and do everything they can to get Freeman, which I find it very hard to believe that the Yankees are going to do that. So let me put up that that information so everybody's clear when they come into the stream. All right, so I'm just going to put the trade up there. I'm going to try to get everybody in there. I don't want to make it too small. All right, so there you go, guys. I'm going to put the information up there. So once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, the Atlanta Braves made a trade to get Matt Olson. Of course, I spelled it wrong, but that's okay. Just fix that really quick. All right, there we go. Okay, so once again, the Braves traded 3 of their top 10 prospects for Matt Olson, which is a huge haul, which nobody except for the Dodgers were probably able to make that deal. And once again, guys, as soon as Atlanta realized that Freeman is not signing back with them, it was clear because also the Dodgers were in on Olson. And the Dodgers probably feel confident that they're going to get Freeman. So that's probably why the Olson trade went down with the Braves, because the Dodgers took out probably their package off the table, thinking that they're going to most likely sign Freeman. And that's exactly probably what happened, because the Dodgers have a very, very good, really good farm system that they could easily gave a couple of probably just as good as package as the Braves. But the Dodgers are probably getting Freeman, which you'll probably hear very quickly. And we will probably hear that very soon. And I honestly think it's a great trade for both teams. You know, the A's never signed their superstars. They always trade them. So they got a haul back from Matt Olson. The Braves get their first baseman, which production-wise, they're probably okay. You know, they're not losing much with Olson. They're probably gaining offensive stats-wise. Olson's a pretty good first baseman. He's not Freddie Freeman, but he's more than good enough to play first base and be a pretty good first baseman at first base. So once again, sorry about that, Yankee fans. I know you were all clamoring mostly to go after Matt Olson. That seemed like the most logical option for the Yankees, and they can't meet that price. That's the unfortunate part for you Yankee fans. Yeah, Johnny, he probably will, but at least I don't have to see Freeman 19 times a year. I'd rather see him 6 times than 19. Well, you know what? The Braves had a price and they didn't want to go over it. But you know what? They're paying an all-star first baseman in Olson a lot less than what they would have had to pay for Freeman for basically the same offensive production, maybe a little bit better. Again, the intangibles that Freeman brings, the leadership, is going to be lost in that Braves clubhouse. But, you know, the Braves saw it otherwise. So I don't think the Braves, this is a good trade for the Braves. You can't kill them on that. They didn't want to probably go 6 years, which is probably what the Dodgers are willing to give, and they're probably giving them more money, and the Braves didn't want to do that. Oh, well, Bowling, Olson to the Yankees, clearly not happening. Freeman to the Dodgers is very likely. I see Kris Bryant is one of the favorites to go to the Mariners. Story to the Twins, maybe. That's a possibility. So I'm just trying to catch up on all the tweets, the chat in the chat, guys. So give me a second. So RLP, you see, I had a good feeling. So let's see what else is going on the see moves are happening. So again, everybody's retweeting the Olson trade. And I will go over that again. And there's a video now of the Alonso crash of the car flipping over. So it looks like he has a nice big Ford Super Duty truck, which thank God he's okay. I mean, the truck's demolished, but luckily he's okay. Jeez. His wife Haley posted it earlier on Instagram, so they're both okay. All right, so let's see. Oakland just officially announced the trade. So the deal is confirmed. It's official. Olson to the Braves for a huge package going back to Oakland. Starting pitcher Ryan Cusick and Joey Estes, outfielder Christian Pache, and Shea Langlers. So 3, 6, 8, and 11 prospect going to the Oakland Athletics. So the Braves, again, they had the minor leaguers to give, and that was exactly what was the problem with the Yankees trying to get him. So pretty good chance you're going to hear probably very soon that Freeman's going to go to the Dodgers, most likely. And another interesting thing, maybe, Matt Olson is from Georgia, so very interesting. He's a Georgia product. He went to Georgia, so we'll see what else happens. I mean, clearly things are going to happen. Okay, so it's an updated prospect list. Again, it's still 4 players. It's a 2, 3rd, 9th, and 14 prospect. So there you go, guys. Again, you're probably going to get the notification from Major League Baseball app now that it's official. All right, guys. So we're going to keep on looking at Twitter, see what else we got. Ken Rosenthal, Jeff Pass, and John Heyman, all of them are confirming the deal now. So, a lot of people now are talking about the Mets maybe making a move now. A team in their division just made a really, really solid, basically level move to get a bat in Olson, which, again, I'm glad Freeman's out, but Olson is going to be very dangerous for the Braves. So, once again, guys, we're probably waiting for the news of Freddie Freeman signing rather shortly. Because clearly the Braves got their answer that he's not signing back. So we're just waiting. All right, so let's see. What else do we have? All right, so there we go. So the breaking news is on your screen right now, guys. The Braves trading their 3 top 10 prospects and a 13 ranked prospect. 3 top 10 prospects and a 14th ranked prospect for Matt Olson. That is the latest. It is official. We haven't really heard news regarding Kris Bryant at the moment. For all the people asking in the chat, don't be discouraged, guys. If I miss your comment, I'm not trying to go past people. I'm just trying to get to the questions that are basically what we're trying to talk about right now with different deals. And as soon as somebody types something, it goes straight up again. So I'm just trying to get back to where I was. So don't think I'm trying to avoid your question, because I'm not. Tom, there is no news with the Blue Jays as of yet. Some Blue Jay fans think Freeman's on the table. I kind of don't think so. Jeff, I wonder how you're feeling about the trade that you guys just made and losing Freeman. I'm glad you listened to the stream while you're busy at work. I'm glad I can bring you the news if you couldn't look at your phone and find the news that your team made a trade. Transistor is a Met and Jeff fan. Well, God bless you. Pazu, Yankees Mets Subway Series 2022. Maybe. The Yankees got to make a couple more moves, but I don't think the Mets are the favorites to win the World Series or get to the World Series. Kyle, there was some fans actually talked about that. I don't think the Yankees are going to do that. Because who's really going to take the Donaldson contract? I just don't see it. All right, so looking for news right now. I'm waiting for the Freeman signing to happen. So people are typing, they're expecting Freeman to go to the Dodgers. Not reporters, just radio host and everything like that. It's pretty obvious that it's clear that Freeman's probably going to the Dodgers. For you Jet fans, Braxton Berrios, 2-year, $12 million to the Jets. There was one Yankee fan that tweeted, "I missed the lockout." So, sorry, Yankee fans. Again, I try to be extremely fair with the situation, but the Yankees are losing out on a lot of players I thought they were going to go after. Again, it's not like the Yankees might have not been trying. It's just that they don't want to actually meet the prices for free agents and meet the prices in the package if they're not going to give up Volpe and or a Peraza. And if they're not going to do that, the teams are going to hang up the phone. So once again, guys, the breaking news is on your screen regarding the the Olson deal to the Braves for 4 top 15 prospects. Alrighty. All right. So I'm going to continue to look at what's going on right now, guys. So it's a flurry of NFL and Major League Baseball sign-ins and trades right now. NFL's free agent period has started, so it's going to be crazy. All right, let's see. Nick Metzi, the big bat. I tend to agree. Ricky Kitchen won Bryant and Josh Hader. It's very possible. Yeah, I said that earlier in the stream about McNeil changing his number to 1. I tend to not care. But I mean, in 3 years he changed his number twice. So so let's see what else we got on Twitter right now. It seems like things are moving fast today. So, Hector Gomez was tweeting about the Braves that they were very aggressive trying to get Nelson Cruz, but the Nationals won that race. So, and then, the Braves did everything they can to get Olson. The Braves and Marlins are intensifying talks with Jorge Soler. So we'll see where that goes. And that's the latest with Hector Gonzalez. But just trying to see what else we got here. Let's see. All right. So if you are interested in the scouting reports of what the prospects the Braves gave up, you can look it up on Prospects Live. If you follow them on Twitter, you'll find the rankings of all those guys and their stats and all that stuff. All right, let's see. All right, so that's basically it at the moment. Okay, so that's about it right now, guys. Once again, we're probably just waiting on Freddie Freeman signing with the Dodgers. Most likely, there's a pretty good chance of that. Ricky Kitchen, I see Josh Hader possibly. The Mets might make that deal. I still think Bryant's favorite of most likely destination is either the Phillies or the Mariners. Cole, I think Freddie Freeman's going to the Dodgers, honestly. The Yankees don't have money to go over the luxury tax. It's clear with the trades they make and the lack of free agent movement, guys. You have to pay attention to the writing on the wall. If the Yankees were able or were allowed to go over the luxury tax, Hal's probably telling Cashman to stay under the luxury tax again. So there's no way the Yankees are going to spend $20 million on any player. They just got a few $1 million added to their payroll with Josh Donaldson signing. The Yankees are not paying Freddie Freeman $170, $180 million over 6 years. It's not happening. If it happens, I will eat my words, but I don't think it's going to happen. You know what? I know Yankee fans are in desperate mode right now to get a first baseman. I understand that. Believe me, I was in your position once before. I was desperate for the Mets to do any moves a couple of years ago. I understand your frustration, but, The same reason why Yankee fans wanted Olson, because they believe that the Yankees are not going to spend. Now, granted, maybe the Yankees are desperate now, and Cashman, is probably begging Hal to open up the purse strings and spend a little bit more money. But I don't see that happen. Roberto, remember of Talking Mets and Rob. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I think DeGrom's gonna be fine. If DeGrom's healthy, he's gonna be a stud. We know that. All right, I'm just trying to catch up on all of the comments, guys. I know a lot of you, just telling me to look at Twitter with the Olson trade. So, Raul, I know the Yankees did screw up so bad. I believe that, but again, the Yankees were not going to match the Braves' offer. It was just impossible. Donald, news with the Mariners, not yet. 2 days ago, we heard about the Mariners being looking into Kris Bryant, so we'll see where that goes. Yeah, the Braves ain't gonna sign Freeman to be DH. That's not doing that. I haven't heard the Mets talking to anyone. Maybe they're still. There was a little bit of rumors yesterday that Josh Hader talks could possibly start happening with the Mets in regards to a trade. So clearly, the Mets are still looking into making a couple of more deals and possible sign-ins. And Sticker, yes, Rizzo's probably the destination for the Yankees are probably the destination for Rizzo. But again, the Cubs are trying to get him back as well. So again, there's no guarantee that Rizzo's going to the Yankees. I just seen that as the likely destination. Peter, that's actually a great question. With Olson leaving the A's, do you think they'll want Dom? I mean, yeah. I mean, if the Mets didn't get Bassett yet, I can see that happening. Maybe the Mets go after Chapman now. I mean, it seems like the A's are doing a complete fire sale since they're looking. The Twins are looking at Sean Manaea and Montas as in a trade as well. So maybe Dominic Smith with another prospect to the A's, going to the A's for Chapman. Chapman has more money than Olson on his deal, on his contract. So, the A's are clearly trying to shed that payroll, and the Mets can actually pay or take on that entire contract of Chapman. So that makes sense for the Mets. So it won't cost as much as the Olson trade did, because Olson's very cheap at the moment. But I could see that as a possibility. I mean, the A's need a first baseman at the moment. Tom, I agree. I don't think Toronto needs another big bat. I think they got to work on their bullpen just a little bit more, and I think you're going to be the top dog in the AL East. Chapman to Toronto, that's a possibility as well. Well, you know what? I still would rather deal with Olson than Freeman, because Freeman killed the Braves. Again, Olson can kill the Braves, kill the Mets, but I'm sick and tired. I'd rather take my chances with Olson than Freeman, because Freeman killed the Mets. He killed the NL East. Matavius, I know you're probably, you're probably a little heartbroken a little bit that you lose your face of your franchise guy who came up in your system in Freeman. He helped you get a championship, but I mean, you're not losing production here. You're not. Olson's younger. Stats are very similar to Freeman. I don't. We're going to see how he is clutch wise. Is he going to be a clutch player like Freeman? Because Freeman was very clutch in the big spots. So, we'll see what Olson does. But the Braves didn't lose much production at all. Yeah, Joe Olson's going to have a lot of pressure on him, right? He has to follow in Freddie Freeman's footsteps. That's not going to be easy. the blind bear, you know what? I think Met fans got used to the Dodgers having better players than the Mets all the time. But look, we're not going to have to deal with the Dodgers more than 6 times this year unless we play them in the playoffs. That's it. So I'm more focused on the teams in our division and what they're doing. And at the moment, the Mets have been had the most movement during the offseason right now. The Braves obviously made a big trade, but again, I'm more concerned about what the NL East does. I worry about the teams in the NL that are not in our division when we face them and if we face them in the playoffs, because we play teams in other divisions 6 times, so it's not the end of the world. I worry about the Dodgers when we play them and if we face them in the playoffs. That's it. Because guess what? We're not going to have to worry about the Dodgers, the Giants, the Padres, or the Cardinals or the Brewers if you don't make the playoffs. So, like I said, it's a great deal for both sides, the A's and Atlanta. Clearly the Braves finally got their answer that Freeman wasn't coming back. And like I said yesterday, guys, I was pretty confident that the Braves and A's already had a package in place ready to go if Freeman was going to say no to the Braves. And yes, the Yankees, the Dodgers were still trying, but the Yankees were no match prospect-wise for what the A's just got. The Dodgers probably could have matched the Braves, but again, because the Braves and the Dodgers were basically looking at the 2 first basemen, Freeman and Olson, it's kind of hard for them to, for the Yankees to actually have any wiggle room to get one of those guys. It's almost nearly impossible because the Yankees clearly don't have the flexibility in spending to go above the luxury tax. Because if they did, I'm pretty sure that Freddie Freeman would be a Yankee already. But they're no match for the Dodgers. The Yankees are not not overbidding the Dodgers for Freeman. And they clearly didn't have the package Atlanta gave up for Olson. So it is what it is at this point. Oh, yeah, Alan, I agree. Olson is the younger, at this point in his career, is a better all-around player. But again, Olson was playing in Oakland. There wasn't a lot of pressure on him. Now Olson is under the shadows of Freddie Freeman, where there's going to be pressure on Freeman. You never know how a player is going to react under that type of pressure. Now he's in a division where you got Zach Wheeler, Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer. You got Alcantara in the Marlins. You got a lot of good pitchers in your division now where, let's be honest, the AL West, what pitches did they have? For a while. Like the Angels had no pitching. The Astros, Verlander was gone. The Astros didn't have great pitching. The Rangers didn't have great pitching. There wasn't a lot of great pitching in the AL West. So now he's coming to a division where there's a lot of good starters that he has to face. Even the Nationals aren't great, but you got 3 teams that have very solid pitching in that division now. So Olson's got to face that now. So we can't just assume that Olson's going to have the same production in Oakland when he's got to face deGrom, Scherzer, Alcantara, Wheeler, guys like that, like a lot more often. So we'll see. He's stats-wise, he's better than Freeman. He's younger. That's what the Braves are looking at. But again, the leadership, the clutch hits that Freeman got, we don't know if we're going to get that from Olson. He might be just as good, but we can't know that until he starts playing. Just because we look at stats, we always see it. We always talk about it every year. This team looks great on paper, but they still have to play on the field. Andrew, chances of Correa going to the Mets, I think it's I wouldn't say it's a strong possibility. I still think it's a chance only because the rumors over the last 24 hours about Correa possibly willing to take a 1-year deal obviously doesn't just put the Mets back in the run, but it puts a lot of teams back in the run. That's the reason why the Astros are talking to Correa again, because the Astros weren't going to go above and beyond what they already offered him during the season. So it's clear why the Astros are talking to him again, because he was willing to take a 1-year deal, and any team would want to do a 1-year deal with a player like that. Yeah, Jimmy, that's another reason why I think Correa could be a strong possibility for the Cubs. Just because they got no shortstop, they have nothing in the farm system, and even if they're technically somewhat in a rebuild mode, you're gonna have Correa, if you sign him long term to a 7, 8, 9-year deal. In year 3, 2 or 3 of that deal, you'll make more moves. Some of your prospects will come up, hopefully perform, and then the Cubs are ready to go. Jordan, it's on the screen. If you're not watching the stream, you're listening. The Braves gave up 4 top 15 prospects, 3, 6, 9, and 14, going to the A's for Matt Olson. So it's a huge package that nobody else can probably get close to except for the Dodgers. But the Dodgers probably backed off since they're probably going to sign Freddie Freeman. Yeah, you did lose Christian Pache, so that's a bummer. But again, you got Olson. Again, the Atlanta Braves could give anybody they wanted in their prospects list, because all their big guns, all their big prospects are up. Swanson, Acuna, Albies, Riley, all those guys are up. All of them. And it made sense. Even a couple of their pitchers that came up with Soroka and Fried, they got all their prospects that came up. Their team's good. So their prospects are irrelevant. And a lot of the prospects they gave up, I think 2 out of the 4 of them are low A pitchers or low A prospects that are not going to be up for the next couple of years. So it's pointless for the Braves to hold on to them, but they did hold on to their number 1 and number 2 prospect. Yeah, they'll probably try to jack the price up using the Yankees, but I mean, the Dodgers aren't stupid. They know the Yankees ain't gonna offer a huge contract. They probably offered Freddie Freeman a contract, but it's probably for a short-term, big, high AAV. I don't think the Yankees are going to go 5 or 6 years. I just don't see that. And I think the Dodgers are just going to say, oh, what did the Yankees offer? Okay, we'll go over that. And that's basically it. See, that's an interesting trade. If the Yankees are willing to give away Gleyber Torres for Contreras, that would be a win for the Yankees, in my opinion. But I also don't see that either. I don't see why the Cubs will want Gleyber Torres back. And on top of that, Gleyber Torres' value has gone down over the last couple of years. So, I don't see, at the time the Yankees made that trade for Chapman, it wasn't really, Torres was the best shortstop prospect in the game. He was number 1. So I don't see the Cubs getting back Torres, because has shown he hasn't been good lately. And the Cubs need a shortstop. If you have been watching the Yankees, Torres cannot play shortstop. So why would the Cubs trade a star catcher for Torres who can't play shortstop? I just don't think that makes sense for the Cubs. Scoop, what's up, buddy? Jonathan, how you doing, buddy? Connor, how you doing? Do you think the Red Sox should be in on Freeman? I don't think so. I could see the Red Sox pivot to like Story or maybe even Correa, if that's a possibility, because I think the Red Sox might actually move Xander Bogaerts, since there's a big possibility he's going to opt out of his contract after this year. And you might as well get something for Bogarts, and maybe the Red Sox make a new move for one of those shortstops on the board. Blind Bear, there hasn't really been much Mets news, honestly. So, but don't worry. As soon as I hear anything, I will definitely talk about it right away. Yeah, Christopher. I still think the Mets are going to make a big bat move. Um, Again, I think a possibility of Correa with a 1 year deal is possible with the Mets, but I'm not going to say it's likely. But I think the Mets need to make another move. The Freeman or Olson, either one the Braves would have signed or traded for, which obviously they traded for Olson. Either one is a plus on the Braves side. So, uh, again, even if the Olson Freeman is, if you look at it as similar production, it's still something that the Mets have to be worried about offensively with the Braves. But the Mets aren't going to make a panic move because the Braves made a move. The Mets were basically the only team that had been making moves in the NL East, basically. So I'm not terribly worried. I still think Freeman leadership is a big deal with the Atlanta Braves. But again, production wise, you can't say that Olson's not similar, if not better, than Freeman. Scoob, I told you guys. I told you. As soon as Dick's Sporting Goods got more of a selection with the Mets new players, I was gonna get it. Like I said, guys, I try to keep my word as best I can. I picked it up this morning. I actually asked one of the cashiers at Dick's. They always I'm always in there buying stuff. So I asked her, can you please give me a call when you get the new Mets players merchandise in there? And she did. She called me yesterday afternoon. Obviously, I was streaming, so I'm not going to just leave and get the shirts. So she was nice enough to hold the sizes that I needed, and there you go. They're there. They didn't have none of the black jerseys, shirts. They had black jerseys. They had a Scherzer black jersey. Again, I don't really like a lot of jerseys, so I like my shirts and my hoodies. So yeah. So as soon as they get the black shirts, I'm gonna get the black shirts as well. Godfather, I don't know. The Phillies did sign Brad Hand. Obviously, you probably already know that they signed Familia as well to help out that bullpen a little bit. Again, I still think Kris Bryant's going to the Phillies. I've said that a couple of months ago, even though I don't want that to happen. I think that's really possible because Harper's been trying to get the ownership to do it. Yeah, I still think. I mean, we haven't heard a lot of Kris Bryant news over the last couple of days. We heard a little bit of information, but nothing that serious. But I would be shocked if I think most of the big name free agents are going to be off the board the time the first spring training game starts. I think most of these guys want to be in camp. Yeah, blind bear, don't worry. I'm gonna actually say the questions. So I know you're legally blind, so I will definitely read the question uh while I can. So YOLO. Blue Jays apparently still aggressive on Freeman. They do have the richest owner in baseball, and they're clearing going for it. Well, they're clearly going for it. But I think Freeman's going to the Dodgers. I think there's a little bit of with nostalgia there with him being born in California. So we'll see. Justin, I think the LA's the favorite now to get Freeman. After that Braves trade, I think the Dodger fans got really happy. Dom Smith to the Red Sox. That's something to think about. Who would you get? Who would the Mets get in return though? That's what I'm curious about. I think the Mets can already compete for with the Braves. I think the Braves and the Mets are leveled at this point. I still think it's a somewhat of a blow to Atlanta losing Freeman, even though they picked up Olson. Because you guys got to remember, there's no guarantee that we got to see how when Acuna is going to come back. You got to see if Soroka is going to be healthy with his Achilles for the second time tearing that. Max Fried is a stud. Charlie Morton is still good. Matzik is good. A lot of potential. Let's hope the Mets make a splash. All right, guys. I'm just still going through the. Stoney, I did hear about the accident with Pete Alonso, but he's okay. Yeah, I tend to think so too. Jokic, I think so. Freeman, and then you probably, like I said, we already heard big news already today. So I think over the next 2 or 3 days before the first spring training game, you're going to hear a lot of the guys go off the board. Oh no, Jason, I agree. I didn't say Escobar, or Connor are big bats. I never said that. But what I'm saying is, Braves fans watched Freeman for years. That guy was one of the most clutch players in the game. Just because Olson's stats look better than Freeman does not mean that a lot of those stats are in clutch situations. You never know with a player when you put more pressure on him. Now he had the cloud over him of Freeman. On top of that, Olson could be great, but at the same time, there's no guarantee that. I mean, at this moment, you have no center fielder. Acuna is going to be out probably at least the first few months. Ozuna is going to be back, but he's a terrible outfielder. He's got a good bat. Clearly the Braves. I give respect to the Braves. I still feel that the Mets right now are somewhat even with the Braves. I would say maybe a little under. But, if you look at the both rotations, if everybody's healthy on both sides, the Mets have the edge in the pitching staff. Max Fried is excellent. With Bassett and Scherzer, and again, we're going healthy on both ends. The Mets are just a little bit better rotation-wise. I do think the Braves have a better lineup. But again, we're going to see these guys play. The injuries are going to happen. Things can change. Don't worry. I'm ready to drive Freddie Freeman to Los Angeles right now. I got the car warmed up, ready to go. I'll even buy him some ice cream for the ride. No, he should buy me ice cream, maybe. He's rich. Mets cards, yes, he is all right. So thank God for that. I mean, if people saw the video on that his wife posted on Twitter or on Instagram, yeah, I thank God he's okay, because his truck was basically demolished. And thank God, thank God they were probably clearly wearing their seatbelt. The Ford big time trucks are actually one of the best safety trucks in the country. So luckily for them, they weren't hurt, at least a lot. Again, it doesn't move the needle for me. I think it was addition by subtraction, get rid of Gary Sanchez, but Josh Donaldson is 36 years old, injury prone, strikes out a lot, but they did get rid of Sanchez. I do like Kalefa a little bit, a lot. Excuse me, a lot. A really good defensive shortstop. Gold Glover. I think it was an okay trade for the Yankees, but if they don't do more, it's kind of not really a great trade. Angel, I tend to agree. You know, a lot of people, especially non-Met fans, there's a lot of people like, why would you get Marte at 33 years old? He's center fielder. Yeah, but did you see what he did last year? He had 40 plus stolen bases. He batted 310. You know, he's not a power guy. Nobody expects him to be a power guy. You know, he's still got the speed. He's in really good shape. You know, 300 average. He's going to be the Mets leadoff hitter. You know, everybody's forgetting about Escobar. I think that's the best move, position player wise, for the Mets. That the move they made. Everybody forgets that 2 years ago. In 2019, Escobar hit 38 home runs. So I don't consider him a big power hitter, but he got pop, and he's a very good professional ball player. And you know, people are not really looking at Escobar's deal as a big deal, and it's a really good signing for the Mets. And yeah, I just saw that McCutchen. I was in talks with the Brewers, another older outfielder that's probably going to end up with the Brewers. So I'm going to check Twitter. Let's see. What else are we seeing right now? So there was news that came out of what happened with Fernando Tatis and how he broke his wrist or fractured his wrist. He was riding his motorcycle. So yeah, so there you go. You know what? I think the Padres are kind of pissed at him. You know, I can almost guarantee you that there's something in his contract where he shouldn't have been doing that. But we'll see. Josh, yeah, they took all the money, but again, guys, pay attention to the contracts they traded. Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela combined make around $14-15 million. Josh Donaldson makes $21 million. If you do the math, it's only $6-7 million that the Yankees are paying. They're not paying 21. I don't know if the Cardinals are going to sign anybody else. They could probably get another starting pitcher. Need some bullpen help. I think their lineup's pretty okay. Yeah, but you know what? The Yankees didn't get him to be a third baseman. I mean, a DH. They need him at third base. They traded their third baseman. They need him at third base now. I'm just checking Twitter right now. So I know this is not breaking news, but Aaron Boone was just asked, who is your first baseman? And Aaron Boone responded, Luke Voigt. And where will DH LeMahieu fit? He says everywhere. So that probably pisses off Yankee fans even more. But I don't know. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Just checking Twitter, guys, just to see what's going on. All right, so that's it at the moment. So still that Olson deal. Probably waiting for Freeman to make his deal, probably with the Dodgers. All right. So continue to answer you guys' questions. So I am gonna be out of here, guys, around 3:30. Got some errands to do. So if there's any crazy breaking news, I will go back live or do a YouTube short to break the news, and just so you guys know, it's not going to be a long stream today, guys. Oh, yo, I agree with the Blue Jays. I think they're going for it. Absolutely. They could do that. The Red Sox move Chapman to first base. That is an option. So we're just going over the information here, guys, just to see, because it seems like news is just popping up out of nowhere. Obviously, we're waiting for the Freeman deal probably shortly. All right. Yeah, so nothing crazy as of yet. Christian Pache just tweeted he's heartbroken that he left the Braves, but that's how the business works. Again, he's going to a team that's never looking to go above and beyond to win. So he's going to be playing every day in Oakland, but that's about it. So we're just waiting for probably the next hour or so. We're probably going to hear something about the rumors with Freeman, just to see what's been going on. Once again, guys, when you get a chance, please check out the video that I did that was posted earlier today regarding the possibility and how the Mets can actually sign Carlos Correa if they can get him on a one-year deal. So check that out when you get a chance. I would really appreciate that. Sober guy, if Freeman goes to the Dodgers, they already had a dangerous lineup. It's going to be even more dangerous. But again, the Dodgers had a crazy lineup last year too, and they didn't win anything. They didn't win the World Series. So, again, I know there's a lot of Dodger fans in this stream right now, but yes, you won the 2020 championship, but it was only 60 games. Any fan base would be happy if you win a championship, no matter what the season looked like. But it's kind of a situation where the Dodgers can never get over the hump, and in the 60-game season, they did. But it wasn't a big hump, but they still won it. So again, the Dodgers still have to prove that they can go 162 games and make their way through the playoffs and win a World Series in a full season. That's something that they haven't done yet. Pip Boss, it looks like Freeman's going to go to the Dodgers. Unless Cashman, steals Hal's money from the safe, I don't see the Yankees going over the luxury tax. Angel, I think. Well, I mean, bullpen wise, that would be a nice, solid move. I wouldn't call it a big move, but it's a solid move for the Mets if they make it. Kenley, I still see him going back to the Dodgers. I could see the Blue Jays going after him. They can use another bullpen arm as well. Maybe the Phillies will take a look at him. I don't see the Mets doing it, but that's the teams I see for Kenley Jansen. All right, let's see. Pazu, thank you, buddy. Like I said, I do try to be fair. Again, sometimes even no matter what team you're a fan of, there's always bias, uh, emotion that comes out sometimes because that's just being a fan of a sport team. There's always going to be a little bit of bias there, but I try to be very fair on every team. I mean, I'm talking about the Braves, and I'm a diehard Met fan. You know, they're I'm watching them like a hawk because it affects my team. Same thing with the Phillies, same thing. And I try to be fair, and I even talked about the Yankees a lot today. I'm still trying to be fair in that situation too. I'm not gonna if the Mets make a stupid move or I don't think it's a good trade, I will say it. I love throwing my team under the bus. I tell you that. I will be very negative toward my team if they do something stupid. And I'm fair on all teams. If I think it's a stupid trade that a team made, I will call them out. Or a stupid signing, I will call them out. And the Yankees trade for Donaldson wasn't a great trade. It was a trade that was probably necessary for both teams. One to get rid of somebody they didn't want, which was Gary Sanchez for the Yankees, and the Twins wanted to get rid of that money so they can make more moves, which they'll probably make. And that's basically what it was. And the same thing with the Olson deal. Brave fans are going to be happy with that deal. They're not going to care about the prospects because most of their big-time prospects are at the major league level at this point. So the Braves got better, or at least on the same level if they even would have re-signed Freddie Freeman. I think that's a fair analysis on that situation. Yeah, Todd, and you're gonna look. They even put the Yankees as winning 98 games as well, 96, 97, 98 games, winning the division. I mean, come on. I mean, how do the Yankees and Phillies have a better rotation than the Mets? I mean, Garrett Cole is not better than Scherzer and not better than DeGrom. So that's a squash. Bassett is better than any pitcher the Yankees throw out there other than Cole. I mean, I'm sorry. The Phillies, maybe you could talk about the Yankees and Phillies being on somewhat of the same level. But, they got Wheeler, who is better than anybody else than Cole in the Yankees rotation. I mean, Nestor Cortez, he's good, but he's a 5-inning pitcher. Jordan Montgomery is an okay pitcher. I mean, who are you going to talk about? King, Schmidt, Gill? Guys you don't really know what they are? I'm sorry, Todd. I don't agree with that one bit. Yeah, so, and that's a great point, S. When it comes to guys, people looking at Chapman or Jose Ramirez, if Oakland got that package back for Olson, Jose Ramirez package is going to be just as much or more. And probably Chapman's going to be similar to that. So if you're a team that's looking for those two players, look to be given what the Braves gave up for Olson. Jonathan, Mets, Freeman, there's no way. Johnson, no Tiger news at the moment. Let's see. Correa can be going to multiple places if he's willing, and it seems like he's willing to take a 1-year deal. There's going to be a lot more teams involved. I still see Correa going to the Cubs, but I can also see him going back to the Astros on a 1-year deal. And I wouldn't be surprised if my Mets actually make a call to Correa to see if he's willing to take that 1-year deal. I give him 1 year, $40 million, and if anybody matches that, I'd be surprised. Cano for Donaldson, the Yankees would be adding payroll. That's not going to happen because the Yankees and the trade they made, they traded Sanchez and Urshela. That makes in total around $15-16 million. And Donaldson is 21. So if you do the math, that's only like $5 or $6 million the Yankees are actually paying Donaldson. If they trade Cano for Donaldson, they're going to be paying about $15 million for Cano. They're not doing that. Justin, with Adam Ottavino, I think it's just a replacement for Familia. Honestly, that's all it was. It was a $2 million cheaper option who is similar to Familia. The one thing that I would say is that Ottavino is a right-handed specialist. He can't pitch against left-handers. He's not that good against left-handers. He's really good against right-handers, but his slider doesn't work well. His slider goes right into the wheelhouse of left-handers, which is low and in. So he's a right-handed specialist who gives up home runs. At least with Familia, he can pitch to both batters, even though Familia is just as bad as Ottavino. All right. So once again, guys, I'm going to check Twitter again just to see any more news. All right, let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like much is happening at the moment. All right, so nothing's still going on. So I'm just going to continue to look at your comments, guys. Andrew, thank you. Yeah, I mean, at best, I don't think the Yankees, at best, I think the Yankees can be second in the division, but I don't even see that. I think the Rays always find a way to win 90 plus games and always surprise everybody and play very well. So, I mean, if I'm being honest, I think the Yankees are the third best team in the East. I mean, that doesn't mean they can't make a wild card spot, but I don't know where anybody trusts their rotation. I mean, we still don't know about Cole with that whole spider tech thing. I still think he's going to be very good, but you're not paying him to be very good. You're paying him to be great. And I don't know if he's going to be that without spider tech. We have to wait and see. I mean, Nestor Cortez is a nice pitcher, but he's a 5-inning pitcher. Same thing with Jordan Montgomery. 5-inning pitcher, 6-inning pitcher who's okay. Unless one of the Yankees pitching prospects become a stud, the Yankees rotation is in trouble. And if you only add in Josh Donaldson, who might have, obviously a better average than Gary Sanchez, but he strikes out just as much as Gary Sanchez, and he's more injury prone. I mean, how much is the offense have gotten better? So now you're relying on Judge and Stanton again to do everything. Maybe Gleyber Torres, I don't think he's going to be as bad as last year. There's a lot that the Yankees have question marks on. Aaron Hicks, he's the starting center fielder. When was the last time he was healthy? He wasn't. And there's always a risk that Judge and Stanton could get injured because Stanton's been injury prone. Judge lately has been healthy, which is nice. I'm a big fan of Aaron Judge, but again, he's a freak of nature. But, he's not getting younger. So we'll see. Severino, yeah, I did forget about Severino. But again, Severino hasn't pitched in 2.5 years. He pitched a little bit last year, and he looked good. But what does that really mean? And when Severino was healthy, and remember the question used to be, who's better, Severino or DeGrom? When Severino got into the playoffs, he choked. So, how good is Severino? Until Severino's healthy, I'm not going to say Severino's going to be a big part of this rotation because he has to prove he's healthy. Yeah, Payola, I know. Listen, Tatis, it's his own fault. He's, riding a motorcycle, probably stupidly, and look what happened. Green, about the Phillies signing, I don't think it's, they're not earth shattering. They're okay. But again, Familia is extremely streaky. If you looked at Brand Hay's numbers after he got traded from the Nationals, I mean, he was okay with the Mets, but he wasn't great. But the Phillies are trying. They're trying to improve their bullpen because that's usually their problem every year. Apple, yes, I am a Mets fan. Thoughts on DeGrom? I'm assuming you're talking about the opt out. I'm not surprised. Why wouldn't he want to opt out? I mean, look at the pitcher. Look what the guy that's in his rotation, Scherzer. I mean, DeGrom deserves to get about that much money as well. Why wouldn't he opt out? So I was always expecting DeGrom to opt out. I think the Mets did too. It's just DeGrom confirmed it. So there you go. And the Mets ain't gonna lose good DeGrom, so don't worry about that. Uh, Health wise with DeGrom, apparently he's healthy. He said it in his press conference. Even Epler said he was healthy. There's no restrictions. He was pitching off the mound. There was a lot of videos on Twitter today of him warming up next to Scherzer on the mound doing his pitches with pitching on the mound. So that's a good sign. Buck Showalter already named him the opening day starter, so they clearly feel very confident that he's healthy. So I'm okay with that. I'm very happy about that. Yeah, Richard, I agree. I'm ready for the games to start so we can be you know hearing about injuries and all that other stuff that goes in between for spring training. But I'm actually very happy at the fact that right now Marte has a little bit of oblique soreness. I don't think it's as serious as some people or a couple of you guys think it is. It's not a strain; it's soreness. Again, the soreness can turn into a strain. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But I think he's going to be okay. Rest him a couple of days. There's no rush. Just get him healthy. Oh, good. I actually heard conflicting reports. Yes, I saw that tweet that said 5 years, 70 million. But then the same reporter came out and said that took back that tweet and said the deal is not confirmed yet. So it still seems like it's probably a possibility, but it hasn't been confirmed as of yet with Suzuki. So once again, guys, I will be out of here at 3:30. So I'm just checking Twitter one more time before we're out of here. So here's an interesting thing about the Braves with Freeman. Joel Sherman reported the Braves did not give Freeman or his representatives a heads up that the Olson trade was coming. So here's what I think will happen with the Braves. I think the Braves are waiting on Freeman to make his decision. The A's probably were getting offers from the Yankees and the Dodgers. And the Braves probably got worried that if Freeman goes to the Dodgers, Olson goes to the Yankees, the Braves have no first baseman. So I think that's probably what happened, and the Braves probably had to up their offer and probably couldn't wait any longer. So that's very interesting that the Braves didn't give any heads up to Freeman's representative about them doing the Olson trade. So clearly, the Yankees were probably in on him, or the A's were probably ready to make a deal with either the Dodgers or the A's. The Yankees, sorry. And the A's knew the best offer, the package they could have got was probably from the Braves, but the A's weren't waiting anymore, and the Braves probably just pulled the trigger. And that's probably what happened. All right, so MLB Insider, which is a guy who always comes up with rumors and contracts and sign-ins that sometimes are not true. But he's saying that Seiya Suzuki is signing with the San Diego Padres. Again, I'm waiting for another legitimate reporter to actually come out and say that. And then, you'll be happy about that. All right, so here's the interesting thing about Taijuan Walker with the Mets. Buck Showalter just revealed that Taijuan Walker underwent right knee surgery in mid-January, so he's being held back a little bit in comparison to the rest of the pitching staff. He still has a chance to be ready for opening day. So, again, but, even if Walker's not ready for opening day or for the first week or two of the season, you still got Tyler McGill, you got David Peterson, you got Trevor Williams, you got Jordan Yamamoto to fill in for a couple of starts. So that's why the Mets got extra depth in this situation, so it's not that bad. All right. So that's what we have at the moment, guys. The big news today, Braves give 3 top 10 prospects and 1 top 15 prospect to the Oakland A's from Matt Olson. So the Yankees lose out on Olson. The Dodgers lose out on Olson, but the Dodgers might get Freddie Freeman. It's probably very apparent that Freeman's going to the Dodgers unless the Yankees somehow surprise everybody and spending over the luxury tax, because that's the only way they're going to be able to get Freeman. And I doubt that's probably going to happen. I think if Cashman was able to spend over the luxury tax, he probably would have been all over getting Freeman. But it doesn't seem like that. And the Josh Donaldson deal probably is more apparent that the Yankees aren't going to spend over the luxury tax. So Yankee fans, welcome to how the Mets fans feel over the last 30 years. I feel your pain because we're used to it. I understand it. You know what? You have an owner now that does not want to go over luxury tax or looking at the bottom line. And guess what? Most other teams do the same thing. So the Yankees are back to reality with this. So, but again, we'll see what's going to happen with other news today. Once again, guys, I will be out in a minute or two. So please don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hit on that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all you guys' support over the last couple of weeks, and especially during the lockout when news was very, very scarce for everybody, and you guys still supported the channel, and I really appreciate it, guys. So once again, guys, I really appreciate you spending about 2.5 hours with me today. If there's any breaking news with any of the big free agents or regarding the Mets in general, I will do a YouTube short on the breaking news. So thank you guys so much. Have fun today, guys. Hopefully your team does what they want. And I will see you next time on the next live stream, hopefully tomorrow. So I appreciate all the support, guys. Have a good day. Met fans, let's go Mets. Have a good day, guys.